But this is really right on top of you in Gulf Park Estates. Isolated wind gusts over 60 miles per hour and some hail will be likely with these storms as they're crossing Highway 90 now, pushing offshore, flying a crisscross pattern in order to get a better idea of where the actual center is, and they'll relay that data to the National Hurricane Center. We'll have another update again tonight at around 1 o'clock. So that's why there's uncertainty with the forecast, because the GFS model puts the heaviest rain on top of us. The European model puts that heavy rain just to our west. Tornado warning in effect. Take your tornado precautions. This is crossing Highway 613, headed towards Highway 614. In fact, this new scan coming in, that's a pretty decent. Can we pause that?
Yes. And
put it at the latest frame? Here's Coal Town. That's a pretty impressive circulation. That tornado warning still until 3 o'clock.
Now, WLOX First Alert Weather with meteorologist Eric Jeansonne.
All right, those were the kids from the summer reading program at Gulfport Public Library this afternoon. We had a really great time talking about the weather, and it really was a good day to be inside to talk about the weather because it was so hot. And tomorrow we do it all over again. Notice how the rain is pushing out and kind of curling. That's called a rain foot, and that is a very strong symbol of what we call a downburst. What is a downburst? Well, what happens is when you get a thunderstorm, it's a lot of rising air. You get the cloud that forms. In the mid-levels of that cloud, you get a layer of some dry air. Well, all that rain, it starts to fall through all of that. And that rain, it starts to evaporate and it turns cooler. Well, that cool air, well, it's very dense and it's going to rush down to the ground very quickly and sometimes violently, knocking down trees, power lines, and maybe doing even more damage. Sometimes winds in a downburst can reach 150 miles per hour. Thankfully, we didn't have anything like that. We've been talking about this the past couple of days. We've been watching that dust coming off the coast of Africa. Some of that dust has made it here, and we're watching a larger plume of dust in the Caribbean. That's headed our way too. Here's what it looks like on the NASA dust forecast. This is a model that kind of simulates how that dust is going to behave over the next few days, and it takes that large plume and moves it towards us as we go into tomorrow evening, Monday, going into Tuesday, and perhaps it just kind of lingers around.
Hold on a second. Looks like you got a little desert dust on you.
It's just dandruff.
All right. Thanks, Eric.
Why does the humidity make it feel hotter? Well, our bodies cool off by producing sweat, and it's that process of evaporation that actually cools us off. But when it's so humid, there's already a lot of moisture in the air, so there's not really much place for that moisture to go. So it doesn't evaporate as quickly, which means we don't cool off as efficiently. Now, if you headed to the Shuckers game tonight, game time around 6:35, it's still going to be muggy out there. Temperatures in the upper 80s, heat index values, it's still going to feel like the 90s. All that rising air begins to sink back down right into the center. It clears things out, and that's how you get the eye that forms.
Tonight, concerns continue growing over the impacts of the Bonnie Carey spillway opening on the Mississippi Sound. Earlier today, another dead dolphin washed ashore in Harrison County, this one in Pass Christian. Now more than 100 dolphins have been found dead on Mississippi beaches this year. Even with the opening of the Bonnie Carey spillway, more relief is needed for Mississippi River flooding, so the Corps of Engineers is preparing to open another spillway in Louisiana. For just the third time ever, the Morganza spillway will be opened on Sunday. Now, leading up to the opening and the potential for flooding in our neighboring state, tonight President Donald Trump approved a disaster declaration for Louisiana. For what a second spillway opening could mean for us here on the Mississippi coast and in the Mississippi Sound, Eric Jeansonne joins us with a closer look at the impacts of the Morganza spillway opening.
Yeah, Hugh, two major parts of the Mississippi River flood control is, of course, the Bonnie Carey spillway, which is located around New Orleans, which allows the water from the Mississippi River to flow into the Lake Pontchartrain. The other one we just heard about is the Morganza spillway. So looking at this map here, we got the Mississippi River, of course, that borders Louisiana, Mississippi, and then it moves down towards New Orleans. Another major river in Louisiana is the Atchafalaya River. The Atchafalaya River is actually the new path that the Mississippi River was trying to carve. However, now that we have the river flood control system, we've kind of separated those two rivers. Now in Morganza, that's where the spillway is. Here's the Mississippi River. If you drive along here, here's Highway 1. I've traveled that many times on my way home in Louisiana. Here's the Mississippi River. All of this is flooded right now. The gates are here. When they open up those gates, the water will begin to flow, and that's going to flow down the Atchafalaya River Basin. So that's a much better scenario for South Mississippi because all of that fresh water will go through the marshes and the river basin. However, there are homes in this area and there are towns that will be flooded. So it's not necessarily the best case scenario for everyone, but at least for our salinity levels, that is better. The problem with the Bonnie Carey spillway, which again is located near New Orleans, here is the Mississippi River. Whenever this is open like it is now, it allows all that water, that fresh water, to go into Lake Pontchartrain, which goes right into the Mississippi Sound. And I was just checking some of those salinity levels.
Now, WLOX First Alert Weather with meteorologist Eric Jeansonne.
All right, watching some pretty hefty storms coming out of Louisiana, moving into Pearl River and Hancock counties. Now, we just had a severe thunderstorm warning expired for these storms as they're moving into South Mississippi, but these are still packing quite a punch as they're moving towards Picayune. They'll be near Dido, Saucier, and Diamond Head within the next couple of minutes or so. Strong gusty winds, plenty of lightning, and a lot of very heavy rain can be expected as these storms continue to track off towards the south and east. We're also watching another storm over Stone County that has just parked itself there, not moving, dumping a lot of heavy rain and causing a lot of lightning as well. In fact, the National Weather Service has issued a flood advisory for Stone County, mainly for Wiggins and areas just to the west of Highway 49, because we've seen a lot of heavy rain over a very short amount of time. And looking at some of the rainfall totals in the past 3 hours, but much of this fell within the past hour, almost 3 inches just south and east of Frontage Drive and south of McDonald Road. And that's pretty much from downtown Wiggins towards the southwest. So flash flooding is going to become a concern as we keep on seeing this heavy rain moving over the same areas from downtown Wiggins to Magnolia Drive to Clara Street, Border Avenue, Frontage Road, and Airport Street. Very heavy rain continues to fall. Rainfall rates over an inch per hour at times. Towards the southwest side of town around Old Highway 26, things are starting to improve a little bit, but we're seeing new development just off towards the north and west. So how much longer is all this going to last? Looking at Futurecast, it takes that complex of thunderstorms and begins to move it through South Mississippi by around midnight, then by around 3 o'clock beginning to exit. So between now and about 3 o'clock would be our best chance for seeing rain across South Mississippi tonight. Then we go into tomorrow, looking around sunrise, we could see a few coastal showers around the area. And then as we go into the mid-morning into the early afternoon, perhaps another round of some hit and miss scattered showers and thunderstorms. Now tomorrow does not look like a washout. It doesn't look like we're going to have rain all day long, but do be aware we could be looking at some of those pop-up showers and thunderstorms. Looking outside right now in the Hancock Whitney Bank Tower Cam in Gulfport, 82 degrees. We're pointed off towards the north earlier. You could see a lot of lightning. We're looking straight up Highway 49 towards the north, towards Wiggins, where that thunderstorm we were just looking at is just sitting on top of you. Looking at the forecast for tomorrow, again, some scattered showers in the morning, maybe a little bit of a break, and then in the afternoon with that daytime heating, we could be looking at some more scattered showers and thunderstorms. Low temperatures tonight, upper 70s. High temperatures tomorrow, where we see those peaks of sunshine, upper 80s, heat index values perhaps in the 90s. Now, once we go into next week, as we go to Monday and Tuesday, finally, that storm system moves off towards our east. That drags a front throughout the area, and that will maybe not cool us down, but at least lower the humidity, and that is something we can all pretty much celebrate this time of the year. Looking at the 7-day forecast, again, as we go into your Saturday, not going to rain all day long, but you could see some locally heavy downpours in some areas where those storms pop up.
So a little bit of sun, a little bit of rain, just kind of mixing it up for the weekend.
Yeah, pretty much everything except snow. We won't see snow tomorrow.
Okay, well, thank God.
That I can guarantee. That I will go on a limb, and I promise there will not be snow tomorrow.
Eric Jeansonne, everybody.